Hello, everyone. Welcome to Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blind Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, I am going to talk about the TV show, kind of like, sort of, uh, the Brat Loves Judy. I think that's the name of it. Um, I remember a long time ago, I had an uncle from Chicago, and he was like, uh, "It's this girl that's still around the corner from us. She can rap." And I was like, "Okay, okay." And he was like, "You know who she is?" And I was like, "No, I don't know who you're talking about." And then this kids came, he was like, "Tell her about that girl that can rap." And they was like, her name the Brat. And I was like, "Oh, okay, okay. I know who the Brat is." And this was a long time ago, like when she first came out with like Funkified. And so I was like, okay. So I have to be honest. I had never seen this show before, and I had heard about it, but I saw that it was season 3, episode 1, and I thought that it was very adorable that the brat was pregnant. And I would describe it in one word as brave, because I know that I myself could not do it again. Um, I remember how uncomfortable it was. Now, when they come and they, there's this little life and these little fingers and everything. Yes, I love all of that. But for me to physically try to do it again, oh no, 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 no. The brat is very brave. Kudos to her, because it could not be me. But one of the things that I did find interesting was the fact that a lot of African Americans is not donating their eggs and their sperm. And when they were going, I can't remember exactly what they called it, but I feel like it was very educational for us, especially as Black people, to know that some that there's a shortage in some of those. That would never have been something that I even thought about. So I'm glad that they were able to share their experience with um with that. And again, the reason, like I said in a previous episode, is I know that reality TV is a big part of independent music artists or former artists. And so that's the reason why. I mean, so I guess social media and reality TV has made it where we're able to get more of the personality, because I always thought of Brad as a very likable person. But after seeing, even just the one episode of the show, I was like, oh, she seems like she's a very cool person. And I think that she's going to probably be a great mother. I mean, not like just a monetary mother, but a great mother. But um, I was just the the thought just never occurred to me about the shortage of African American sperm banks. And then I was even watching Tasha K, and she was talking about now they're doing studies on fetal alcohol syndrome from the sperm perspective instead of the the egg perspective, I guess you would say. And they're doing more studies on it, and it says that men can also contribute to children having fetal alcohol syndrome. So, I mean, even just all the things that just watching and looking and seeing what's going on is very interesting to me. That was like the main thing that I, felt like was the educational portion, because I always try to look at the educational part and things. But then even watching the situation, just everyday things, getting to know about um, a person's personality, especially with the brat. And she was talking. One of the things, and I was reading comments and everything that I found funny. She was like, "We're gonna have roaches," and I like was laughing. I mean, killing myself laughing. But I do agree with her that if you're used to having somebody, because I think the issue was um, her wife's her son, I think he's 21, moved in and that he don't clean up like he should. And I think that Judy was taking it as a strike against her parenting. And I don't think that it was that. I don't think it was that at all. I think that it was a very simple fix. I mean, because I'm kind of like just a very direct person. Hey, you want to catch that trash? Hey, I don't need to come back to your room no more and see all this stuff around here. No, we got this clear. And so I feel like that if there was some open communication there, then yeah. And I kind of feel like that I'm not for sure, and I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, tell me, or if you see it from another perspective. And I think that I mean, because I don't know, but I think that one is trying to push the other more into the husband role instead of being like co-wives, I would say. So some things can be handled without the other person being there. And although, yes, you are one, some things the one parent is going to take the lead on, such as you might have one parent that do the discipline and one parent that makes sure that the house is ran in order. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so I would say within that aspect right there that um, especially dealing with grown children, because I have a 21-year-old too, and I will have to stay on him, even though you may be taught, hey, you take the trash out, you do this, you do that. I'm not saying this with everybody, but I would say from what I have seen of the typical boy, it don't matter how you were raised. It they're boys. And I think that's where Brat is failing to see. She's saying, I was raised like this. Yeah, it's kind of like in the African American family, they stay on the girls more to clean up than the boys. Because I even remember growing up in my own household, I used to ask my mama, why my brother don't have to uh, wash dishes. And she was like, because you a girl. And I'm like, what they got to do with it? But then in some other households, the boys did have to wash dishes as well as the girls. And it's just like, but I can see how she's like, yeah, we had to clean up. But I think that if a boy could get away with it, then he's not gonna do it. He'll let somebody else do it. It don't matter if it was a housekeeper who came, or if it's gonna be mama who gonna come and do it, or anybody. I think that's more like it's a young man thing. It's not a how you was raised thing. And so I think that they probably could get over that if Brad understands that you have to understand that sometimes boys just don't do. It might not be anything about a housekeeper. And Judy understands that it is not anything against your parenting because love is love, honey. So I'm just gonna say that, and I'm doing a little bit more content because, of course, you don't really get into the logarithms if you don't do a lot of content. And I first started out with doing one show per week. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more. It might not be as long, but just to give my thoughts on some things. This coming up next few weeks, I have several interviews lined up. So we will be sprinkling some extra stuff in between, trying to make it a little bit more interesting. But anyway, you can find us on all podcasting platforms, streaming live on social media, and on my blog, on my website, www.blonde-intelligence.com. And I am out of Bye.
Hey girl, let me tell you about this podcast.
Girl, everybody has a podcast these days.
But this one interviews new and interesting indie artists. It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Really? Where can I find it?
It's on all podcasting platforms, streams live on social media, and on rpentradio.com.
What'd you say it was called again?
It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Girl, I'm gonna have to check her out.
Give it a check, girl.